Hello everyone, once again it is I, the Professor. Now I do know I've already made one Rant video today, and I was supposed to be making a video in response to a certain someone who requested me to give them some feedback on their reviews. I'm still doing that. This one just has been put off for a while, and it was requested long before he made his request. So I'm going to do this one today, and I'm going to do this one right now. And this particular video, rant, discussion, has to do with cosplay. And as everyone who is subscribed to me should know, at this point in time, I am a cosplay judge and a host for cosplay events at conventions in Arkansas. That's what I do in my spare time when these conventions roll around. That's what I'm doing right now and getting ready for and getting prepared for. But this particular person, I won't give any names. If they want to tell you who they are, she can be more than happy to do so, has requested me to make a video about stereotypes and people who generalize cosplayers. And she sent me a very short discussion. I wouldn't even call it discussion, a conversation she had with someone at a fabric store. According to her, what happened was she was standing around looking at fabric when some girl comes up to her and asks her what she's doing, to which she responds and says that she's looking for some fabric to make a cosplay. And the person responds back saying, "Oh, you mean that thing nerds do?" And then she said, "Yeah, it's kind of a fun thing to do, and I do this whenever the conventions roll around." To in which the person responds back to her saying, "Well, aren't you a little old and fat to cosplay anyway?" In which she says, "Excuse me, you can never be too old to cosplay or too fat. It's something that they wanted to do and they enjoy." To which the person finally responds back saying, "Oh, you mean dressing up like a hooker and a weeaboo?" Then walks away laughing. These are the subjects I wish to touch upon today, and believe me, I love to touch upon cosplay. Take that however you wish to take it. Being a cosplayer does not immediately equal weeaboo. This is going to be the first thing I want to shut down, and the first thing I want to discredit. Being a weeaboo does not mean cosplayer. Being a cosplayer does not mean weeaboo. A cosplayer is nothing more than someone who enjoys a character, enjoys the art of making outfits, and decides to make that character's outfits and wear them. And even to this point, cosplay is more than just the costume itself. Cosplay is acting out the character. So with this, a cosplayer is nothing less than an actor. So I would like to ask people who come out and say, "Well, all of you cosplayers are a bunch of idiots." Do you say the same thing to, say, Tom Cruise, Denzel Washington, any of your favorite actors out there? Because in essence, they are cosplaying. They are portraying a character that they are told to portray. They are acting that character out. This is what a cosplayer does. That is the definition of cosplay, to act out a character. It might not be the verbatim definition, but that is the definition of cosplay. The costume is only part of it. Now, what a weeaboo is, for anyone who doesn't know what a weeaboo is, even though you're on the internet, and by God, you should know what a weeaboo is. A weeaboo is someone who does nothing more than walks around their everyday lives or conventions or anywhere else going, "Oh my God, like Japan, Japan's greatest country, Japan. You go Japan, Japan's much better, Japan, Japanese, Japan, oh, Japanese food, oh, Pocky, Japan greatest, oh, America down, stupid America, Japan, 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 Japan." A weeaboo is someone who goes around talking about how wonderful Japan is. That is not a cosplayer. Completely different. Now, am I saying that weeaboos aren't cosplayers? No, because I have met some weeabooish cosplayers in my lifetime. But to a very high extent, a lot of weeaboos are meaner to cosplayers who aren't weeaboos, for the sole fact that they believe that the cosplayers who are not weeaboos do not understand what it means to be a cosplayer and think they aren't doing it correctly because they're not being Japan, 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 Japan. The next item I wish to talk about is the fact of being too old to cosplay. Now, this one, in all honesty, is laughable for one very specific reason. There is a holiday, happens every year in America, and then, from what I understand, a lot of other places in the world, on October 31st, known as Halloween, All Hallows Eve. Now, am I a giant fan of Halloween? Not really, although there are certain things about Halloween that's nice to see. Go to Joseph Buckley for that one, he can explain it all to you. But, on Halloween, people dress up. Not just the kiddies, but even the adults adults still dress up for Halloween. To come out and be someone who's not a cosplayer, someone outside of the community of cosplayers, someone outside of the convention community, to come in and look at you and say, you are too old to be dressing up in costumes, and then turn around on Halloween and dress in a costume is ludicrous. For the sole fact that on that one day, you're doing exactly the same thing. And no, it doesn't make you different just because you do it one time a year. It's a special occasion. It's a special occasion for these people as well when conventions roll around. A lot of conventions happen one time a year. Some of them happen twice. And others, if they want to go to more, they have to travel a lot to do so. They don't cosplay in every day of their life. Their everyday life isn't walking around in cosplay. I have friends who do it a lot. Some of my fellow judges cosplay a lot at conventions, but you do not see them at their everyday jobs wearing an outfit from an anime or a video game or comic books or anything of the sort. It is no different than putting on an outfit of the sexy devil or sexy nurse for Halloween. It's exactly the same damn thing. So to come out and say that you should not be allowed to dress like this because you're too old, and to turn around and do the same thing on Halloween makes you a hypocrite. And I could probably assume, going by just a very short description of the person that was given to me, I would assume that that's the same kind of person. They're around the same age range. Halloween dress up usually happens for people when they hit the adult years throughout their early 20s. So I would assume that this is the kind of person who would be going out and dressing up for Halloween to have a little bit of fun, and turning around and criticizing and condemning someone else for doing that is about the same age as they are. Now the next one I want to talk about is that you're too fat to dress up like this. Now, here's the thing. As a cosplay judge, I cannot accept the idea that someone could be too fat to wear something. There are certain areas within modesty, yes. But just because you're of a certain weight range does not mean you can't attempt to dress as, say, Sailor Moon if you want to. You can't attempt to dress as a character that you like just because you don't fit into someone's mindset of a weight range for that character. This is cosplay. You're portraying someone. Like I said before, it's not just the costume and it's not just the looks. It's all about the personality and the way you portray the character. Weight range has no aspect on this. If you talk to a cosplay judge, they will tell you that they're not going to judge you on your weight range. To sit there and say, oh, Valletta New from Code Geass is a freaking toothpick and you're what, 300 pounds? Well, mark that off on your cosplay. Minus points right there. No one who is a cosplay judge is going to count that against you. No one who is a cosplay judge is going to do this. And if they do, if a cosplay judge will look at a contestant, will look at someone in cosplay and say something like that, they do not deserve or need to be a judge. That's another one that I wanted to take down, that there's no weight limits to being in cosplay. There's really not. There's even certain characters that are more built for someone who's a little bit more hefty. And I'm not saying that I'm requiring you only to dress in those outfits, because that's not the truth. Now the next part, and this is really humorous going from the conversation that was sent to me about, oh, just dressing up like a hooker. Let me say something very quickly right here. A lot of characters from anime, video games, or anything else dress a lot more modestly than normal women at a club. Normal women at a club, 9 times out of 10, wear more risque and more revealing outfits than people in cosplay. Yes, there are some very revealing cosplays out there, but that doesn't mean they're dressing like a hooker. And in all honesty, and this is the humorous part, a hooker, a prostitute, will not dress as you're stereotyping for the sole fact that that is a red flag. Hookers and prostitutes have to stay below the radar in the law, so why would they go out and dress, even similar to what women dress like in a club, when that is just gonna, boom, knock up a red flag immediately, knock up an alarm in a cop's mind. If they're driving down the street and they see a woman just standing there dressed like that, that's an immediate red flag. Hookers don't dress like this. They're going to want to dress like everyday people. So in all technicality, you go into work tomorrow and you're dressed in a nice pinstripe suit. Young lady or business professional woman who is listening to this, if there are any, you're dressed like a hooker. In all honesty, to come out and say people who are dressing in cosplay dress like hookers is stupid. When I can point out and just go to any club in Northwest Arkansas and say, you're dressed like a hooker, because look at all this shit you're revealing just to catch that guy's attention. That's exactly what it is. So to do this, to condemn, once again, a cosplayer for dressing one way, you dress in the exact same, or even worse on a normal Friday night, is really fucking stupid. And then she also wanted me to talk about the aspect of some people think cosplay has to be of a certain genre. Cosplay is not true cosplay if it's not from anime. That is a bull-faced lie. Cosplay was not originated just from anime. Cosplay has been around for years. People have been cosplaying since Star Trek conventions started, Star Wars conventions, comic book conventions. People have been cosplaying for years before anime ever became popular in America. You can cosplay and dress as Superman. You can cosplay and dress as Superwoman. Or not Superwoman, but Wonder Woman. You can cosplay and dress as Bryan Cranston from Breaking Bad. You can cosplay in a lot of things. It's not just limited to anime. In all honesty, cosplay is meant for everybody. Anyone who's walking down the street can cosplay. And for the most part, they do every now and then. Let's just go with this idea real quick before I end off. You're cosplaying if you come into the bedroom with either your boyfriend or girlfriend. I don't care whether you're a guy and woman going at it, or a woman and a woman, or a guy and a guy. I don't care. If you come into the bedroom and you dress as in a little outfit to turn on the other person, that's cosplay. You're playing out a character. You're playing out a role. You're cosplaying then. Everyone cosplays. It's just not everyone deems it as cosplay because it's not related to anime, video games, comic books, or nerd culture in general. It's ludicrous to look at someone like this and condemn them for being a cosplayer. It's stupid. It's pointless. And it's just downright, for the most part, demeaning.